Mic check. It's showing that Londa, let me know. Anybody in the chat, let me know if you hear me. 1, 1, 2. All right, Jaden said we good. All right. Anyways, same thing we always say. Big Games B.S, part of the Media Group, presented by MFTK Foundation. 2 weekends in a row, tied. I'm not going. Well, I ain't doing shit Saturday, but then I'm flying out on Sunday. I think I'm flying out on Sunday. Hopefully my flight still good. But getting ready to build up, try to wash clothes, try to clean as we gear up for the Super Bowl this year. I know we'll talk about it a little bit here. Shortly, we have 2 teams that are going that are pretty good. Don't know what it's going to look like, but I do know I have kids that I get to cover, and we can try to get some unique content, especially on that Monday on the floor of Super Bowl pep rally and things of that nature, man. But I don't know. We got a pretty packed show. I didn't post anything on because I don't have my clips and stuff for the 7-on-7, so hopefully we'll have it on Monday. And we'll be able to talk about some of the different things that are going on with the 7-on-7 that are unique, that are positive, as well as even some of the dramas that are going on. Because what's the world without a little drama? But outside of that, let's start off this show like we start off our show each and every day with a word of prayer.
You already know what time it is, dog. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God, for another day. Thank you, God. God is great. All the time. All the time. Nobody wanna thank you, God. Thank you, God. Go.
All right, Jaden, what we got, sir?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another morning edition of Big Games B.S. here on January 26th. This is your first time at the show. Welcome. And if you're new to the show, it's called Big Games B.S. because we bring the good, the bad, and the BS of the sports world, especially football, to your screens, eyes, and ears. We're going to start off our show with our NCAA segment before kicking off our NFL segment. Within the NCAA segment, we're going to talk about the real football university in Tallahassee, talk about the transfer portal, and then talk about the overall college landscape as we're in the offseason. Transitioning to the NFL, we have one quick update on the Jags before recapping the conference championship games that happened last night, talk about the Super Bowl matchup, a few other topics as well before getting into the Big Games BS section where we bring the scope of the conversation outside of the typical football world. And we have our BS or bus and food review topic within that. And we have a OG and YN Wyland segment to close out the show. But let's talk about the real football university in Tallahassee because they announced their coaching staff, courtesy of head coach Quinn Gray. Now we are talking about FAMU nonetheless. And James, there's some familiar names on this list that you definitely know. But FAMU coach Quinn Gray has released his coaching staff, his new coaching staff of 10 to 11 assistants has been announced, and these are the names right here: Ryan Lewis, Elijah Haggard, Ron Dugans, Don Mixon, Orlando McKinley, Brandon DeAndy, Chris Cash, Andre Pope, Mickey Victor, Casey Warming, Nick Suak, Billy Roll, and Larry Williams. James, I know you've probably seen this release from Quinn Gray, but what are your thoughts on the coaching staff for FAMU football, and do you think it's looking bright as of right now?
I like some of those guys. Like I like Casey Warming. He's been at FAMU for quite some time. Has technically been the tight ends coach for a while, but was kind of working as a off field, but now he's officially the guy, young guy. He's also the recruiting coordinator. I got to make sure I text Casey, tell him congratulations. Obviously, Ron Dugan's OG, FAMU High grad, Florida State guy, coached at Florida State, coached all over the place. For Quinn to be able to get somebody of that magnitude on the staff is a big hire because he's going to help with recruiting. I actually, me and Ron talked about one of my wide receivers from Mandarin, Tion Weiss. He goes on a visit over there this weekend, but we'd be remiss if we don't talk about the biggest name on that Capital City Cigar Lounge member. I think he holds the record for interceptions in a career at Florida Agricultural Mechanical University. He is the only person in the state of Florida to win a state championship with 3 different teams. He is a South Florida football legend. His name is Billy Roll. You don't know Billy Roll. Billy Roll is my guy. I want to call him up and tell him congratulations right now. Billy is on the move. He's doing his thing. Billy actually hit me up to ask me about certain kids and what they need to do and all of these different things. So like I love that for that good friend of mine. Again, Billy Roll is a dope dude. I like that staff, man. That's a staff that I want to do stuff with. I want to make sure and also just Quinn Gray in general Quinn is good people. Again, Quinn's dad was a South Florida football coach and legend as well. He came to FAMU. He was the quarterback at FAMU like during the time when I was like really growing up watching. Like he was over there, had FAMU hopping at the same time FSU was hopping. And I think those who grew up in Tallahassee in the 90s, I mean, I can only imagine what it was like being grown during that time. Some of y'all old. I wasn't. I was being grown, but I wasn't grown. But being able to FAMU, like the energy level was great. And what a lot of people don't know, you guys, we almost get into Black History Fact Month. Do y'all want to know a little known Black History fact? Y'all can the foundation is literally I credit the foundation to Quinn Gray. MFTK Foundation is because of Quinn Gray. Quinn Gray was the coach at Lincoln at the time. He had just left Mandarin High School to come over to Tallahassee Lincoln before he left to go to Memphis and then in turn go to Albany State and take the trajectory and career coaching that he's going right now. But Quinn said something and he liked the hats. And they were doing like a FAMU. FAMU had like it was like a gathering for the players on that team that almost won the national championship. Yeah, FAMU was like that. They were so good. They were the only HBCU that was consistently getting into the FCS playoffs. And they actually made a run. They lost to Youngstown State, coached by Jim Tressel, who ended up being the head coach of Ohio State. He said, man, and I told him what it meant, and he laughed. He's like, man, we need to get coaching hats for this. He's like, wait a minute, hold on. We can't just let it mean that. We have to have something else to be able to call it. And then he said, mentors for the kids. And I said, yo, I like it. And then that's kind of where the actual official name of the nonprofit, and that was 2019, I believe, that fall of 2019. And then it shifted to, things happened in 2020. And I'm forever grateful for that part because there's been so much fun and so much impact has been had in the communities since that point. And Quinn has been dope ever since he was a Jaguar. We would run into each other at cigar lounges. And I want FAMU to be successful. I want Quinn to be successful. So this is, again, this is amazing. I take this like a friend of mine is getting the job. So kudos to Quinn.
Let's discuss some transfer portal news, especially the biggest news of them all. We talked about Jordan Seaton entering the portal from Colorado, from the Colorado Buffs, aka Dion School. And we were wondering what school would Jordan choose? And it's officially official. He will be joining Lane Kiffin in the boot in Baton Rouge. And he is the number one OT in the portal and was a 5-star plus recruit coming out of high school. But James Seaton at LSU, he's going to be transitioning from the Big 12 to the SEC. Do you think he'll be able to keep up with those SEC trenches?
I mean, he's a very talented kid. I'm not familiar with how his career went at Colorado. I know Colorado had a lot of stuff. He was a big, much heralded recruit that went to Dion and committed to Dion with Juju as well. A lot of people were bigging up Dion's recruiting strategy, which I still think is pretty good. I just think Dion just probably has to find a way to probably just evaluate the guys that he wants properly. But it wasn't an accident when he won those games that he did win with Shadur in them. He's just used to his son. They just got to get better quarterback play, get better line play. But this young man going to the SEC, he's about to see a different caliber of athlete that he's got to go up against each and every weekend. You're going to have big defensive ends that are damn near the same size as you that can run, that are athletic. But I do believe his skill set is one of which will get him drafted. Like, as I one of my favorite things to joke about with young men is that God did all the work. And that's about it. So kudos to him. So I'm all for it. I thought he was going to go somewhere else. I think Oregon was making a push, but Lane has been able to get the talent out of the portal. It's just, has he been able to get the talent to be able to play on the field? Because he had it in Ole Miss, and he actually had it to where he could have reached the pinnacle. And it just showed that, I don't know if Ole Miss goes as far as they do with Lane Kiffin as the head coach, but I do know that Lane Kiffin, without Lane Kiffin, they were a few plays away from playing in the national championship, and that's still impressive. Again, he had to collect the talent. It's just about, can he take the talent over the top?
It's funny you mentioned Deion because Deion Sanders said he didn't want any cornerbacks who are 5'11" or shorter on his Colorado Buffalo squad. And it looks like a cornerback who's under 5'11" is declaring for the draft, one of the best in the country this year, and that is D'Angelo Pons. So he is declaring for the NFL draft. Through 3 seasons, he's totaled 167 tackles, 31 passes defended, 7 interceptions, and a forced fumble. He's a 2-time All-American, 2-time All-Big Ten selection, and was an on-3 true freshman All-American back in 2023.
That's crazy. The statement. There's been some guys who are petite DBs that have always made plays. He went up against some of the best wide receivers in the nation this year, and he stood out in the national championship game. He also stood out against Jeremiah Smith. Now Jeremiah Smith did eat that game, I believe, but that was when he wasn't around him. And when you're going up against a mutant, you're gonna lose some battles. But this is why I tell people to not listen to coaches. Like, they can tell you, like, D'Angelo Pons is a dog. Is that safe? That's a safe thing for us to say, is that young man is a dog. They'll tell you they want dogs, but then they'll go recruit body types. And this is why I tell parents, don't get dejected because a school doesn't take you now. The best thing of the portal and a lot of this stuff is the best thing that could have happened for high school kids. One, it's going to force you to go enjoy the game. You go to a school that's maybe a little bit smaller than what your previous desires were. But if you go and you develop and you got that dog in you, you can put up a collection of film to be able to be seen and maybe go somewhere else and make some more money. And then with the intention to be able to go to the NFL draft. You have to continue to push the envelope, and you have to continue to get better. I brag on my kids a little bit, man. We had actually one of those kids is a mutant. We played against a mutant. We practiced against a mutant. We got a kid. It's a kid locally in Jacksonville that's going to be one of the next up. There's a couple kids in Jacksonville that y'all going to have to know. One kid's name is Jumpman. Jumpman is 6'1", 195 miles. He's 13 years old. He turned 13. He turned 13 like January 3rd or some shit like that. So he's 12. Like, so he's in 7th grade. Like, it's crazy. He's a mutant. Jumpman got big hands. Jumpman made a catch. Your nephew's a little upset about it. I saw that. I got to tell Trey. They dropped it. Trey's not on the clip. Trey's like, he did a one-handed catch on me, and that wasn't even my man. I said, Trey, he was dropping back into the zone, but he caught on somebody else. And Jumpman's nice. I hope Jumpman joins our team and is not on the ops anymore. Comes with us to battle. Jumpman's really cool. Like him. Good kid. Got to get that. Got to get a little bit more of that dog out of him because he should have dominated us. But we got a kid, Mason. Mason is like 5'7", 5'8". I said, Mason, trail Jumpman. He followed Jumpman all over. Jumpman didn't score one touchdown. They tried to throw the fade to him. He got one PI, but then I was like, nah, you were good. You were in position. Do that shit again. He did that shit again, dog. Because Mason is a fucking dog. And Mason didn't cower, and he wasn't. And that was the funniest thing is like, you'll see in these 7-on-7 things, if they don't teach you anything else, they show you who about that life. Them little motherfuckers didn't back down from nobody. We beat Chris Leake's ass. Fuck Chris Leake in the game. You know, one of them coaches was just like, hey, you played at Florida State, didn't you? I follow your stuff. I said, hey, man, what's up, dog? So you know this win was a lot. I played against Chris. Chris whooped my ass one time. Fuck Chris Leake. but we in that thing, shut that shit down. We got a little kid, Jay Sean. Jay Sean ain't even 4'11". But Jay Sean, when that thing got a pick, you can't tell Jay Sean he not 5'9". I say all that to say is you gotta have at some point we gotta teach these kids the dog mentality. You gotta have it. And I think what I'm learning now is you can only impart what you are. If you ain't a dog, you can't create that. It doesn't matter what your measurables are. But 5'9" and can jump in this game and shifty. The taller you are, the less likely you have good hips. There's one person who we've seen be able to do it, and it's the reason why they call my dog the prototype. And that's Antonio Cromartie. So, yeah.
There's been some interesting news revolving Dion since we're on the Colorado Buffaloes and how he manages that organization and program. So he recently had a meeting with the squad, and it was revealed that he plans to issue fines to players for misconduct. So some fines include late to practice, 500, no-show, 2,500, late to meeting or film, 400, no-show meeting or film session, 2,000, violation of team rules, 1,000 to 2,500, public or social misconduct, 2,000, ranging to $5,000. You can see right here, he had the PowerPoint behind him in the meeting. Also had these restrictions: student athletes with NIL deals must not wear got cut off, apparel from non-Nike companies during team activities. Prohibited actions include wearing apparel or equipment from teammates participating in any team activity. Got cut off. Potential violations: unauthorized apparel use, wearing or using equipment during team activities is a violation. Assume not Nike equipment. You see right here, all student athletes are required to wear Nike footwear uniforms and the University of Colorado. This includes practices, games, OTAs, only to wear items issued by the training or equipment staff. Potential violations: wearing non-Nike gear and failure to comply. And property and operational accountability: damage to university or team property, repair costs plus 3,000. Loss of team technology or equipment, placement costs plus 1,000. Got a couple more things in there as well. But going back to the original post, what do you think about Dion implementing these fines for the squad? Since, James, every player makes a different amount of money. So $500 to one is different for $500 to another player.
Well, I mean, that's the NFL. Everybody gets the same fine. Like if you don't wear your socks the appropriate height the entire game, you're gonna get fined. Like when you get that missing part on your check, that's when it hurts. Like I even 50 Cent talked about something that's way more scary. Like getting a punch to the face isn't as bad as losing a check. He's like he couldn't breathe when he lost the check. He's like he'd take a punch to the face all day. Um, I like it. I'm not mad at it, but I don't know how the implementation was. Like I know schools do this. He's not new. Florida does this, but it's technically not a fine by Colorado as much as it is by Colorado's NIL house or NIL institution, because the players don't have it. The players have to. They're not getting paid like pros. Let's establish this first. They're getting paid, but pros have a union. We have the NFLPA. That's our union. That union I'm in as a retired player. So in that union, we discuss what is cool, what is fair, and what is impractical from every aspect of it, from OTAs to practice and even how fines are levied. Now, do all of us know what the fuck is going on? Absolutely not. Most of us just signed a damn contract and pay your dues. But somebody does. That's why you have your team representative and you have your team president that also meets with the person who runs the Players Association. And they all have to know what are the fines that each organization can levy up to a certain amount. And where does the money go when you get fined? The money can't just be kept. The money has to go to like nonprofits or like go to help bolster the community and do all these different things. In fact, it has to be agreed upon. That is the biggest takeaway from all of this is it has to be agreed upon. Now, I have absolutely no problem with these fines. I think these are all things that are necessary. And honestly, if you continue to do a lot of these things, you won't be playing for the team anyway. You can't keep showing up to meetings late. You can't do no call, no show to any aspect of it. And if you don't go to the meetings and you don't pay attention, you're not going to know what's on the field. So you're not going to be able to play. It's really just do your job is what they're essentially asking. But I think even with laws that sometimes I believe are common sense, you still have to go through things the right way and a proper protocol so that it doesn't get abused. And that's the only thing that I have. And that's not an issue. It's just I have no quarrels or no problem with what Deion is doing in this situation. I think it's probably more necessary for the young men to do that. But like, I will say this: if I'm making $500,000 in 1099, I stay in the state of Florida, so I'm probably going to get taxed about 25 to 30% on that. So I make what is that? Roughly 350. I have to put the money to the side, but like if I wake up and I'm sleepy and it's cold outside, I ain't going to meetings. I'm gonna take that $1,500 fine. I ain't gonna hold you, especially in the off season. But I think they're just trying to do stuff the proper way.
Man, I'm just surprised Deion's still at Colorado, man. I'm still surprised, but he is there. He is trying to do a new thing within the program, like many other programs are doing, like you mentioned. So we'll see how the Colorado Buffaloes pan out this season, especially with Jordan Seaton at LSU. And we're going from one Tiger team to another, going from LSU all the way to South Carolina to talk about Clemson's Dabo Swinney. So Clemson's Dabo Swinney accused Ole Miss and Pete Golding of tampering with linebacker Luke Farrelly. So the Clemson transfer linebacker Luke Farrelly committed to Ole Miss on January 22nd. Sweeney says Golding texted Farrelly, quote, "I know you're signed, but what is your buyout?" Unquote. Quote, "I'm not going to let someone flat out tamper with my program. If you tamper with my players, I'm going to turn you in. There's a lot more I can say, but I'm going to let the NCAA do its job. So,
That's all I've been asking for from out the gate. Like, I mean, if we being real, and all these people keep saying things happen, why aren't we talking about this? Like, just say the names. That's my point. So, like Dabo, I guess if Dabo's really running a clean program, I mean, if you're really running a clean program, you don't care about none of this shit. Run your clean program. But like the buyout part is crazy, but they just and I'm all for these things. Like, I'm not gonna sign a 2-year deal with my kid. Actually, you know what? If he coming out of high school, I might. I believe you should stick somewhere 2 years. But I'm gonna hold the school accountable. You're not gonna put him in the portal after year one. All right, we signed a 2-year deal. This is a 2-year deal, two ways. So, like, if I'm signing the Mensa contract, then damn it, y'all can't get rid of me either. And there's got to be some kind of incentive for me to be able to get a little bit more if I reach a certain goal. But like a lot of times the buyout or the way to get out of a contract is typically one-sided toward the entity that's paying the bread. But that is again, once you start looking at this as buying and selling of chattel, because that's what it is. That's what a guy just said. Like, I know you got a, he was a T I said on why you want to go and do that. I know you got a man and all. Is you happy? And you know, it's very corny. But and again, once you look at recruiting as game, it completely changes your whole idea of things. Dabo is the good man, the faithful man in the Tyler Perry movie that isn't doing anything wrong. His old lady stepping out on him, but he's kind of the dark skinned. He's well, let me rephrase it. He's a little bit restrictive. He's the dark skinned dude from Law and Order, and he doesn't want his old lady to leave for the light skinned gardener. While the light skinned gardener is just saying, but this light skinned gardener got a little bit of bread though. Maybe more. No, you know what? It's more like a family that prays. This is the only Tyler Perry movie I actually like. And the husband was doing fine, and then Sanaa Lathan was cheating on him with the other chick, with the other dude that had the bread. And then it ended up blowing up and didn't work out for Sanaa Lathan. And it worked out for the husband. It's the only time in Tyler Perry history, movie history, well, no, Daddy's Girls too. Like, very often, it's very difficult for Tyler Perry to write a film where the man is actually not evil and the woman is evil. But I just think this happens everywhere. But the only way it'll change is if the OGs who are used to being able to pay people under the table and through the church start screaming that this is not right. And I'm cool with that. But Dabo got to stand on business. The biggest issue I have is most people ain't willing to stand on business. So that's where we go with that.
next thing on this list of topics to discuss is Ohio State. So, Ohio State is expected to hire a new offensive coordinator in Mr. Arthur Smith. So, Arthur Smith was the Pittsburgh Steelers OC, and the Buckeyes are expected to hire Arthur Smith as its new OC in Columbus. Went from Steelers going to the Buckeyes now. So Jeremiah Smith will get an NFL caliber coordinator. The previous coach for Ohio State went down to USF, the OC. Now they need a replacement, and they got Arthur Smith. Was this a surprise hire, James, in your opinion? Were you expecting the Buckeyes to go this route?
I'm expecting it because I think Ryan Day is going to the NFL next year, which is fine. Phew. It's hard to judge NFL, right? But like, that's all I can go by, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers like light it up in the passing game. I think his offense would be conducive for the Big Ten, seeing as it's more of a running league. But even they didn't run very well either. Like, they're mid. They ranked 25th in yards in offense, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They averaged 305 a game, 15th in points scored, so they were middle tier. The 26th rushing offense and the 22nd passing offense. Making sure I'm looking at this correctly. It might be. Is that the Seahawks or is that the? Make sure I'm gonna make sure I got this right because I don't want to judge them improperly. No, that's postseason. I want postseason. 2025 regular season. All right. Yep, they ranked. Technically, it was tied for 17th, but they were like, there's only one. No, 17 games. Excuse me, my bad. Yeah, they're right there at the bottom. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are only 7 teams that were worse than them, and those teams are the Dolphins, the Panthers, the Jets, Cleveland, Tennessee, and the Raiders. Um, I just not very good, but also the NFL kind of protects itself. So like when you get more, he's gonna have relationships in the NFL, so that also helps you with recruiting, helps you get more guys in just in case you do stay up a little bit longer. Um, they look at film a lot differently than what people who are just in college look at film. You analyze it differently because you're used to more things that are able to happen. So like and oh yeah, that's the guy who's okay. Yeah, his dad founded FedEx. Okay, that's one of those guys. Still, FedEx story is one of the craziest stories of all time. But I just don't trust men with no chin. Like his chin is not. It's like it's crazy. Like it's like you can't have a double chin if you don't have the first chin. But it's like a double chin, but it's no. It's like a. I don't know how to describe this mustache, and I'm jealous of his mustache. Um, because I don't know how to grow that. I like the Pringles can mustache. I want one of those one day. But we'll see how it works. Really don't care about Ohio State. Even though my dad was rolling with the ops, he doesn't like Ohio State. I don't like Ohio State. Welcome.
The NCAA has officially approved commercial jersey patches in college sports. This will be effective August 1st. Can't wait to see that OnlyFans patch on these college jerseys, man. But all jokes aside, James, and the NCAA is transitioning more to a more business savvy model with this new rule effective August 1st. What do you think about the NCAA finally approving commercial jersey patches in college sports?
I mean, basketball has already shifted to that. There's been proof of other models. It's just another way to make more money. I mean, I don't know how much that's worth, but you have a prominent patch on the other side of the Nike check, and with a program, with any program, like I'd pay FAMU if FAMU's thing was cheap enough. Like everybody would notice that you're doing that, and you'll get the marketing and the brand awareness if you know how to use it the proper way. If you're looking for market share, this is the perfect opportunity for you. This makes way more sense than just doing mass media, like especially if you're doing like a fall campaign, makes more sense to do that. Because then they're gonna like every time they show the games, the replays, they're gonna always have that patch on it. The MFTK patch on Garden to Go would look great. I ain't got it right now, but I would like to have that one day. You know, that would be cool. That would be a really, really cool opportunity to be able to have MFTK said on it. Like the funniest thing at these 7-on-7 tournaments is people asking what MFTK means. Because we're making noise. Which is one of the coolest, which is still funny to me. So yeah.
The college football playoff is expected to remain at 12 teams next season, but according to Brett McMurphy of On3, there are these changes. Auto bids to each Power 4 champion, regardless of ranking, and Notre Dame has its own clause. Notre Dame guaranteed at-large bid if ranked in the top 12 in the final poll. James, this year, Duke would have had an automatic bid in the college football playoff since they were the ACC champions. But what do you think of the new rules for the 2026 12-team college football playoff format, and especially that Notre Dame clause in there?
I don't really like the Notre Dame clause. Um, but the other clauses I do like. I think Duke should have been in. Duke earned a spot. We wouldn't have had a team in the championship, but Duke won the ACC, and I think conference championships should mean something. That right there made conference championships mean something again. And I don't like Notre Dame getting the de facto. So like right now, 50% of all the spots are guaranteed, are sold up to conference champions. So you have the Power Four. Notre Dame technically wins their own championship. If Notre Dame wins 10 games, they're in. They're going to be ranked top 15. And then the top G5 school. So that'd be 6. I think I would rather it be 5, but I think 6 is cool. Now, it goes back to win 10 and you're in. Miami wins 10 games. Miami will get an opportunity to be one of those teams on the outside, in the hunt. And I think that is really the thought process, that if fans would look at it like that you want to win your conference championship, that gets you in. So that keeps people engaged regardless of what happens during your regular season record, because what matters is your conference record. Because if you can just get into that conference championship and you can win, you will be in the college football playoff, which is what it should be about. But also, if you drop 2 games in conference like what Miami did, but you win 10, you have a shot to be able to be in the game. And I think that keeps intrigue. That actually makes people want to watch the college football selection show. That means I'm not out of it in week 2. But if Miami would have won, we wouldn't be in this situation. So, but yeah, I think this is cool. Mike Lee put, "Sup, James? Been busy and missing the live. Just wanted to say thank you for making a post about my friend's mom, Beth Burr. I've known them since I was little. She's always been good to me." Yeah, the Parrot Heads. Funny story about Miss Beth and her husband Tom. Tom takes pictures at Florida State. Great man, Tom Burr. This is why I always tell people, don't let things like people's political ideologies prevent you from making really good relationships, because we don't agree on a lot of those things, but I know there's some genuine good people. A lot of the tickets that a lot of people got given were given by the Burrs. Becca is an amazing teacher. And cares a lot. Teaches like special needs kids. Like, I don't really know exactly, I don't want to go into it, but like, I know I've given gifts and I've met her through the years with my gifts for good grades. The funniest story though is that they have a group called the Parrot Heads. I've talked about this on the show. I don't know if you remember this, Miles, or not, but the Parrot Heads, I went there and they donated 2 years in a row. They got together and they've donated like close to $2,000 each time to the MFTK Foundation. The first time I went, and then they also had me speak at this middle school I got kicked out of, Fairview, for the Black History program. So they have their meetings, I believe it's on Tuesdays, something like that. And they meet at what's the bar and grill? Anyway, it's a place off of Appalachian Parkway. And I go to the first meeting and they're like, "This is the first meeting we've ever had since Jimmy died." Everybody's sad. They're like, Jimmy's a good dude. I mean, they are talking about Jimmy like Jimmy, like Jimmy's really like, like I'm thinking like, damn, who is Jimmy, man? Like, man, I wish, Jimmy seems like a solid person, right? And they're just like, Jimmy was doing this and, Jimmy's that. And then like, it was a somber moment. A lot of people came to the first meeting. They were celebrating Jimmy's death because they hadn't all gotten together since Jimmy died. I'm thinking, who the hell is Jimmy? The entire time. There's no picture of Jimmy. They keep talking about Jimmy. Do you know who Jimmy was, Miles? And Jimmy's following has a cult following called the Parrot Heads. It was Jimmy Buffett. Like they were talking about Jimmy Buffett. Like I literally thought Jimmy Buffett was a part. I thought like, damn, Jimmy's cool, man. I feel bad for Jimmy. But they was like, Jimmy, man, man, we really miss Jimmy. And I'm like, they talk about Jimmy Buffett? And it was like Jimmy had died not too long ago from that. But this was like, so I didn't do it this year. So this has been 3 years ago almost or something like that. But like, it's just like they do 2 months. You go to 2 meetings. They did them during football season too. So it was really tough for me to get over there. But like, it was really good people that come together to talk about their love of Jimmy Buffett and their love of Jimmy Buffett and give it back to the community. So this shit was funny, dog. So pour me something tall and strong, maybe a hurricane before I go insane. Like I'm like, that Jimmy Buffett? Margarita? All right, cool. But they're called the Parrot Heads. So the Parrot Head group is really good. And I want to go hang out with the Parrot Heads I think Becca told me in July. I think that's when they're going to do some kind of tribute for her mom. And I plan on being there. But going to the next thing, I just wanted to shout out to that.
Let's discuss some NFL news since we are finished with our college football segment. First thing, before we get into the conference championship recaps, we have a quick Jaguars update for you guys since it is the home team. And we have a new offensive addition, James, but not a player. We have a new run game coordinator. So we have hired Brian Pichucci from Tampa Bay as a run game coordinator. He and the Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen worked together in Tampa in 2024 on an offense that finished third in total yards, fourth in points scored, and fourth in rushing. Bucky Irving was a rookie on that squad, and he was definitely killing. But nevertheless, and they were with each other at Kentucky and at UMass as well. Also at Maine. So it looks like Cohen and Brian have had a long history of dealing with each other. So no surprise that he made this move right here for the Jaguars offense.
He's trying to bring that Tampa group back. He also, did you see where our offensive coordinator withdrew his name from the Cleveland Brown search?
Yes, and Udinski also had an interview with the Buffalo Bills for their head coaching position in Florida as well recently.
So, but the difference is that the Jaguars are allowing Udinski to do something that the Buccaneers would not allow Liam to do. Like, go take your interviews, but they're giving them some bread to keep him around. But I like it. Familiarity with the product helps with coaching. If everybody is speaking the same language in the coaching circle, it helps communicate the language to the people who you need to be able to do those things. And this is how you get trees. So like Liam Cohen continues to press and we build on what we did this year. Next year, you will see a lot of guys start to leave, and you have to, and the easiest way to keep winning with your culture is to bring guys around who understand your system and understand what your expectations are, who understand how to work for you. You have to have a balance of guys who have been with you since the beginning when you were shooting in the gym, and a mix of guys who are new that want to learn, that need to learn. So I like the balance of what she has. So I wonder if that means so he's a run game coordinator. Did we get rid of our running backs coach? But I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't. I'm not that much of an NFL nerd to where I want to know the little nuances of exactly who all is on the roster. I mean, who all is on the staff. So because some of the stuff is just like, all right. I promise you wide receiver coaches aren't teaching wide receivers how to drop the pass. But who's coming up with the concepts, who really knows these different things. And there's a lot of times the guys can't necessarily coach. They just know how to motivate people, and they got the right pieces in there, which is just as important as anything else. And it's really the OC who's coming up with the concepts. So
let's get into the conference championship games that happened yesterday. First, we are going to start with the AFC Conference Championship, which resulted in the Patriots getting the dub over the Denver Broncos 10-7. Denver Broncos did not have Bo Nix, and Jarrett Stidham took his place, but Jarrett Stidham did not play an awful game. Many were surprised with his performance, especially since this was the first time he took snaps this whole season. And he did it in the AFC Championship game. But let's start off with the winners. Drake May in New England. He went 10 of 21, threw for 86 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, got sacked 5 times, lost 21 yards because of that. Ramondre Stevenson, 25 carries for 71 yards, but Drake May had 10 carries for 65 yards and a rushing touchdown that sealed the New England Patriots victory. And Jarrett Stidham went 17 to 30, 133 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. RJ Harvey led the Broncos in rushing, the rookie from UCF, 13 carries, 37 yards. So for your receivers, Mac Hollins actually led the Patriots in receiving yards, 2 receptions, 51 yards. And Marvin Mims Jr. led the Broncos in receiving yards with his 62 yards on 4 catches. But Cortland Sutton caught the sole touchdown for the Denver Broncos. And Stidham lost a fumble as well. So we're going to keep on moving on.
Shout out to the Duval guy who registered a stat, Pat Bryant, with 1 catch for 2 yards.
Pat Bryant from Jacksonville did have a concussion in the game, so he definitely missed time during that game because
was the weather. I didn't get a chance to watch this. I was traveling back, so I don't know. I'm flying blind right now.
Completely clear at the beginning of the game, like Greenfield. By the second half, it was completely covered in. It was
that's
gross.
wild.
Christian Gonzalez got an interception to seal the game as well. Going to the team stats, New England had 12 first downs compared to the Broncos with 11. But take a look at their third down conversions because New England was 6 of 18, aka a 33% third down conversion rate, while the Broncos were 4 of 14. Patriots are also 1 of 1 on 4th down conversions. Take a look at the total yards. This game wasn't a offensive savvy game. 206 total yards for the Patriots, 181 for the Broncos. Definitely a battle of the defenses here. In terms of passing yards, the Broncos had more, 102 to 65, while in terms of rushing, the Patriots had more with 141 compared to 79. They both had the same red zone conversion rates, and penalties weren't a problem in this game in terms of frequency and severity.
So, who had the most top?
The Patriots did, and the Broncos had 2 turnovers in this game, a fumble and an interception thrown.
So good D and top won again. But that's wild. Damn, I just realized that. So for another year, so basically, is this like should the minorities be rooting for the Patriots now because of Cardi B? Hip hop gets their version of Taylor Swift. Like Cardi B Cardi B is going to be all in the spotlight, I'm assuming. Would Bad Bunny bring Cardi B on for one of his biggest songs in the US? I Like It Like, well, her song was I Like It Like That, but Bad Bunny was on it. That's how I first heard about who Bad Bunny is. I have no idea. He did it all in Spanish. Like that's what I don't know. That's not the proper words, but now we know. Like, and that's also further proof that karma does not exist. Stephen Diggs is a terrible person.
Oh my God.
Stephen Diggs got like six women pregnant. He's got a case for beating up a dude that he potentially date raped. Yes, I said that correctly. A dude that he potentially date raped, allegedly. But I ain't got no allegations over here. I'm just saying that's a hellified allegation. The allegation means that you had to be close enough. The only way to defend it is to say, "Nah, I ain't drug him." Like it wasn't.
That is true.
I didn't drug him. He willingly consented to it. So cool. You're bilingual then, or whatever it is, whatever the buy is. So just saying, we know that he's the only person that consistently nobody on their team would want him to date their sister or their female family member. And there's probably a myriad of other things that he caused the divorce of a pregnant woman. You know what I'm saying? Cardi was pregnant when they got together. Oh. He wasn't the sole reason. Her and Offset cheating on each other didn't went offsetting penalties. She just went and one upped them. But like that's what I'm saying when people like karma's gonna get back to him. Well, you know what? Hey. Is it like when? Like, do we really care? But let's go back to the game. I just thought about that.
Next gen stats didn't have Drake May's passing chart, of course, with his passing numbers not being the best, but they did produce his carry chart right here. He totaled 65 rushing yards, a career high 6 first downs, and a touchdown on the ground in the AFC Championship. And May scored his touchdown in the game-sealing first down on design runs while scrambling 3 times for 57 yards. You can see the green lines indicating 5+ yards gained or a touchdown, and the blue dot signals that touchdown. And courtesy of Next Gen Stats, Patriots use jumbo personnel, which means 6+ offensive linemen on the season high 33.3% of their offensive plays. So 1/3 of their offensive plays against the Broncos were in jumbo personnel, doing so on 42.1% of second half plays as the weather worsened. The Patriots controlled the ball for 21 minutes of the second half. And for everybody out there, a half has 30 minutes in it. So shout out to the Patriots for playing football the good old-fashioned way. So let's get into some facts about the Patriots win. The Patriots become the first team in the Super Bowl era to reach the Super Bowl after hiring a new coach and winning 4 games or fewer the prior season. So shout out to Mike Vrabel. And let's take a look at that 10-7 score, because 10-7 is the lowest combined score in a conference championship or Super Bowl since the Patriots beat the Rams 13-3 in Super Bowl I. Moving along as well with these facts, we got to shout out Drake May because he's been doing some incredibly historic feats. So he becomes the first Patriots QB since Tom Brady to make the Super Bowl in their second season. There's 8 other quarterbacks who made the Super Bowl in their second season. It goes Brock Purdy, Joe Burrow, Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Kurt Warner, and the legendary Dan Marino. So shout out to everybody on this Patriot squad. So for all my fans out there, when the news of Bo Nix broke that he would be out for the season, everybody was sure that the Patriots would win this game. It was just a matter of how much they would win by. With the weather conditions in this game, especially towards the end of the game, the tumultuous winds picked up. The snow definitely picked up on the field, and things had to change. You saw we mentioned the jumbo personnel usage of the Patriots in the second half as the weather worsened. Running the ball, controlling the clock, dink plays makes or breaks the season, and it can win you games. And Drake May has been doing some elite things out there. He didn't play the best in terms of passing yesterday, but the second-year quarterback managed to lead his team into the Super Bowl. Now, they did have a very easy schedule this year, but they're continuing to win these games in the playoffs. Like I mentioned, the Broncos were Bo Nix less yesterday. But for your AFC side, the Patriots are your AFC champions for the 2025-2026 NFL season. Now, this past game, that AFC championship wasn't the more interesting game out of the conference championship. So let's get into the NFC West conference championship showdown between the Rams and the Seahawks. Was hoping that the Rams would pull through Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, but they did not, man. Let's get into this game. The Seattle Seahawks beat their NFC West division rivals 31-27 in a great down to the wire game in Seattle last night. Sam Darnold, 25 of 36, 346 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Got sacked 3 times on the day, however, losing 25 yards. And Matt Stafford, 22 of 35, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And the MVP frontrunner got sacked once, losing 9 yards. Seems like, excuse me, Drake May is going to be getting that MVP with Matthew Stafford getting knocked off in the divisional round. So it seems like Drake May has the upper hand, the upper nod as of right now. In terms of rushing, Kenneth Walker III, man, even though he had 62 yards yesterday, his yards meant a lot for that Seahawks offense, man. He was putting some damage out there on the Rams defense and getting those necessary gains for the Seahawks to ultimately score. He had 19 carries for 62 yards, and he had 1 rushing touchdown on the day. Blake Corum led the Rams in rushing with his 55 yards on 9 carries, but this was a battle of the wide receivers, arguably the top 1 and 2 wide receivers in the league faced off, and it wasn't a disappointment. JSN showed you why he is that in Jigba. He had 10 receptions for 153 yards and 1 touchdown on the day. But on the other side of the ball, Puka Nakua, 9 receptions, 165 yards, and 1 touchdown on the day. Devontae Adams had a receiving touchdown with his 4 receptions for 89 yards, and Kyron Williams had a receiving touchdown as well. Cooper Kupp and Jake Bobo were the other 2 receivers for the Seahawks who scored receiving touchdowns as well. And Xavier Smith, James, FAMU football player Xavier Smith had a muffed punt that put the Seahawks in prime field position, and sucked to see that happen. But anyways, moving on, Omar Spates and Ernest Jones IV were your tackle leaders for their respective squads. Go to team stats. The Rams had 2 more first downs than the LA Rams, and the Rams had 2 more first downs than the Seahawks, and the LA Rams were 1 of 8 on third down conversions, while the Seahawks were 7 of 13. You cannot win a football game if you are 1 of 8 on third down conversions. And in terms of total yards, the Rams actually had more total yards than the Seahawks, having 83 more total yards. They had the same number of drives as well. In terms of passing, their numbers were very similar, but rushing is what caused the game to differ. And we're going to go down right here to the penalties. The Rams had 4 penalties, losing 30 yards, while the Seahawks had 6 penalties, losing 50 yards. But the Rams had a turnover, the sole turnover in this game, courtesy of a muff punt. But the Seahawks controlled the clock. They had 3 more minutes of time of possession than the LA Rams. This was a great game in Seattle, and there was a lot of memorable moments and facts in this game that we are going to dive into right now. And the first one being the most surprising out of them all. The 2018 draft was a special one, especially in terms of quarterback. But James, did you know that Sam Darnold is the first quarterback from the 2018 draft class to make the Super Bowl? Yes, over Josh Allen. Yes, over Lamar Jackson. Yes, over the number one draft pick, Baker Mayfield. Man, he started in New York, bounced around, went from New York, Carolina, San Fran, Vikings, if I'm not mistaken, to the Seahawks. And it looks like the 28-year-old is doing things Josh Allen, Lamar, or Baker has never done.
It goes back to what I've said about the NFL. The quarterback position is made the most valuable position because it's only one person. You probably want to put talent around the quarterback in order for that quarterback to win consistently. Jackson Smith is that Ninjigba. Even with Stafford, you got Puka there, and then you had other guys. Drake May isn't necessarily lighting it. I mean, he's pretty good quarterback play. But not this past weekend. Sam Darnold's not a guy that any of us would have sat back and said, that's the guy who's going to lead the Seattle Seahawks to the Super Bowl.
Serviceable.
But that's my point. That's all you need if you have a good defense and a good running game. Yeah. It goes back to, what do I say? What do I tell you guys about football? It even works to 7-on-7. Good D and top will win you a lot of games. You got to keep the ball out of the other hands of the other offense. Period. That's it. It's not a lot of brain in it. Well, I mean, if you take it the other way, it is a lot of brain in it. But the thing is that, the Seahawks have a good defense. They have a 67 yards. Put up the total rushing yards again. I know one guy has 67 yards. But what was the total? Like, if you get 100 yards rushing in the NFL game, that's good. I'm 75. What's 75 times 10 is 750. Like they're trending. They didn't get quite. They had over. We know they had over 1,500 yards of. If you do that, that's over 1,500 yards of rushing offense. If you have a 2,000 yard season in rushing in the NFL, you had a great running game. Don't turn the ball over. Throw it to our team. You like there. Are we? I know we're gonna talk about pull up the quarter. Let's pull up the NFL winners over the last 30 years. I know people don't like that when you say this about Tom Brady, but Tom Brady's quarterback play in the NFL in his championship games outside of the Buccaneers hasn't been overly stellar. But Tom Brady was also not a top draft pick. Tom Brady is like, we know he's gonna be the GOAT when it's all said and done. Even though we use differing terminology in football than we do with basketball. Like, LeBron can't be the GOAT because he went to the championship 10 years in a row, but because he lost most of them. But Tom Brady can be the GOAT, even though he's lost a good amount of. He's over Joe Montana, even though Joe Montana is undefeated. So we don't use the same consistency, but whatever. When you look at the teams that have won, the Ravens teams did not. Joe Flacco was not a great quarterback, and neither was who was my guy who won it with Bill Belichick? Trent Dilfer. Neither was Trent Dilfer. Brad Johnson with the Buccaneers wasn't a great quarterback. Tom Brady became a great one, but when he got into it, they won with the field goal kicker. Tom Brady played efficiently, but he wasn't like that guy that you draft out of college because you feel he's an elite playmaker, because that just didn't happen. A lot of the guys that you need good defense and good playmakers, and you're going to win a lot of games. Surround the guy with good stuff and you'll play forever and you'll win forever. Ask yourself, how much is good money? And take it. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Jackson Smith is that Njigba for sure. And he continues to prove it every time he laces up his cleats. He had 115 receiving yards in the first half, and his 115 receiving yards are the most in any half of a Seahawks playoff game ever. So that was his third game with 100 plus yards in the first half this season. Whew, them OSU wide receivers are cold. Tom Brady was showing some love to JSN and his route running ability, and more specifically in terms of his shoulders. With JSN, his shoulders are not telling of the routes he is going to run, of the cuts he is going to make, and that is something Tom Brady pointed out that JSN does really well, and that is why the defenders have trouble staying in front of JSN, because his shoulders is cool, calm, collected, and leveled. And speaking of cool, calm, and collected, Devontae Adams was in shambles after the loss in the post-game interviews in the locker room, because he is now 0-5 in conference championship games. Crazy to think about, but that is the second most losses without a win by any player since the round was created in 1970, behind John Capoletti. Man, DT, sorry for you as well. But we're going to be moving on. Since we're talking about wide receivers, we're actually going to highlight JSN one more time. This is his route chart for his 10 receptions, 153 yards, and 1 touchdown. JSN had 47 yards after the catch, aka Yak, and he caught at least one pass against 6 different Rams defenders in coverage, and caught all 6 targets for 105 yards when aligned, out wide. You can see his touchdown is the blue circle, and the routes are the white lines, while the green lines are his yards after the catch. You can see the touchdown with that blue circle. That was a great play for JSN to score. They actually had JSN in the backfield, and he did a corner route and was wide open. Defense was playing underneath, hit him over the top. Was a great play courtesy of the Seahawks offense. But shout out to Sam Darnold. He had a great game, and he is our Money Moves winner of the day. So he got these bonuses from the game. 500K for his season, 500K for 4,000 yards, 500K for a 67.5% completion rate, another 500K for a top 10 offense, another 500 for a playoff berth, for a divisional round win, and for a conference championship. So he has earned an extra $3 million. Shout out Sam Darnold, man. Shout out Sam Darnold. Shout him out.
Could have been.
Mm-hmm.
This was his pass chart on the day. He completed 5 of 11 passes under pressure for 102 yards and a career high 3 touchdown against the Rams. All 3 of his touchdowns came under pressure. You can't make this up. Across Darnold's first 2 games against the Rams this season, Darnold threw 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions under pressure. So in one game, he reversed all of his performances from the Rams this past regular season. So all it takes is one game, and that one game had so much impact on the season. But take a look at the completions of Sam Darnold. James, I know you always talk about this, and every time we show these pass charts, you sound like a broken record, but can you please tell the audience how you win games in the NFL?
Most of your passes are behind the line of scrimmage or 5 yards down. And this one is even no longer than 10 yards, which isn't very far. It's on the you got it's like playing in golf. Yes, you want to be able to get a good drive, but if your iron game is good, which means your short game is good, you're gonna win and you're gonna have a much more enjoyable time. The deeper it goes, the less accurate you are. Even when you look at that, his obviously to the left is not his best. But he was able to hit them on shots where they blitzed, and his wide receivers went and got it. kudos to him. But it's also boxing. Body shot, body shot, body shot. Take him off. Knock him in the head when you get an opportunity. So, good stuff. It's also life is easier when you have that Nick Jigba. So,
Do you think Gino would have done the same thing? I think they didn't. They wanted him back, but I think he wanted more money.
Nah.
Gino's a digger. I don't think Gino takes the shots down the field like he does. But I think they would have had a measure of success that would have been similar if he would have stayed. But Gino made a choice. I mean, Vegas is fun for a little bit. Like you can't be out there for. I was out there for the Super Bowl. Like a whole week in Vegas is a lot. 2 or 3 days is good, but I would like traveling to the West Coast for only 2 or 3 days. Like I'm not looking forward to this flight, and the flight back is really what I'm not looking forward to. So I don't. Yeah, I'll be back home for the game.
Seahawks wide receivers did something incredible. The Seattle Seahawks are the first team since the 2000 Giants to have 3 receivers catch a touchdown in a conference championship game. So shout out to them.
Well,
Sam Darnold.
Another mid quarterbacks distributing the ball.
Sam
Guys,
Darnold
that's dope.
was distributing that rock around there. And with those matchups being set, we now have a Super Bowl rematch over a decade in the making. Last time these two teams faced off in the Super Bowl was with Tom Brady and with Russell Wilson, and the infamous touchdown red zone call by the Seahawks, which resulted in that interception near the goal line. One of the most historic Super Bowls I've ever watched back then. Hopefully this one can be even better. So Seahawks are facing off against the Patriots February 8th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on NBC. Bad Bunny is going to be your Super Bowl halftime performer. Can't wait. It's going to be a lit halftime show with Bad Bunny being there. Super excited. And let's take a look at some interesting facts regarding Super Bowl LX. So, with the first fact, I thought this was very interesting. So, Super Bowl LX will be the 3rd time that both head coaches share the same first name. In all 3 cases, both coaches were named Mike. Mike Shanahan, Mike Holmgren, Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy, and Mike McDonald versus Mike Vrabel. Thought that was a very interesting fact and just something I didn't even think about. But shout out to Phil Yates for putting this out there. Thought it was cool. A cool fact right there. And the best fact of all, James, we have some Seminoles in the Super Bowl. So Joshua Farmer is on the roster with the Patriots and Cam Akers with the Seahawks. So we got some Knowles who have made it to the Super Bowl. Joshua Farmer, a rookie. That's crazy, man. Going from rookie to Super Bowl. Congrats to him.
Gonna go look for both of those guys. And my Bendering kids. So I got 4 people we got to go holler at. I got maybe some more once we look at the rosters who are local to the college. What's my guy? I think former Miami Hurricane blocked the field goal, I heard. The D lineman. Yeah, we came. I just saw what somebody tweeted. So Josh Sweat. Is Josh Sweat now with Josh Sweat left, I thought.
Josh Sweat is with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Enjoying that nice Phoenix weather out there. Shout out to Phoenix, man. Shout out to Phoenix. But those are some facts about Super Bowl LX. And James, I know Super Bowl is one of the most important moments in sports, in the sports timeline. But we got to take a step back right quick because the Steelers hired a new coach, and I don't think we had a chance to discuss it. So we're going to keep you guys updated with the Steelers and their head coach because they hired Pittsburgh native, former Cowboys head coach, Mike McCarthy. Somebody on Twitter said this was like if you poop your pants and you change your shirt. This is the equivalent of this hire. That's what somebody said. So, James, I know the biggest issue with Pittsburgh right now isn't their defense, but it's that quarterback play. Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers have had some history, but what are they going to do now since people assume that this was Aaron Rodgers' last year in an NFL uniform? So, can Pittsburgh get any better if their quarterback play is still in question?
No, they're gonna have to go into free agency. Like Mike McCarthy is the reason why Aaron Rodgers wasn't in Green Bay. Remember, he went and he brought in his replacement, and that's really what started a lot of the issues. Aaron wasn't about helping nobody take his job. He did the same thing to his young man that was done to him by Brett Favre. But McCarthy will probably bring some fresh light into the Steelers from an offensive perspective, but it's still Pittsburgh. Like, it's just not a place where you just want to throw the ball 1,000 times downfield, man. And I think in 3 years, I agree. In 3 years, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be firing him and hiring another coach, and people will miss what they had with Tomlin. But because it's not like it's one of those things where you don't understand how hard it is to go, how hard it is to be consistently mid in the NFL. That typically is a bad thing, but it's not so much in this situation. Like, all he did was get you, like, so again, like, you know, and again, I've seen the rumor mill and all of the other different things that do suggest that he wasn't fired, but he was highly encouraged to step down. And that's okay. He had a long run. You make that change, and then you have no idea like what it's like. Like I'm curious to what it's going to be like in Buffalo. But yeah, like I don't want to hear anything about people like you said, like the Mike. Did you heard about they try to say my guy got a worker pregnant or some shit like that? Mike Tomlin. They trying to use that same Shamar Moore thing and all that other shit. Like I'm like, bro, I don't give a fuck about any of that. Like, can you coach football or can you not? Right, like, you know, like that is the last thing that I'm necessarily worried about with guys. Like, you're a football coach. You are not my my moral compass. Like, the Giants don't care about Jackson Dart, and apparently the Broncos don't give a fuck about Pat Bryant, and nobody cares about Tua. Like, they just keep throwing these guys out here. Like, so I don't want. Like, I'm not gonna, and we don't care. Yeah, we don't. Like, we like to pretend. Like, it's like what you pretending to care about today. Like, just be real. Let's, you know, if we're gonna be anything, be real. So, but yeah, good kudos to him.
Man, definitely not happy. Wish they would have got Brian Flores, man. One black coach.
That would have been great.
That would have been a great pick.
Brian Flores isn't hired yet, right?
No, he actually signed an extension with the Vikings, so he's staying there.
Hey, hold on. Jaden, you didn't put this up there. Have you seen the Diggs tattoo? Oh, he did that shit.
Yeah, I saw it today. I didn't want to talk about it, but I'm sorry. I guess we have to now.
I fully believe that he did that. He did whatever that man said he did that shit. This man has a leopard print fucking back tattoo. Like a tramp stamp. Like, if this is the cost of being great, I don't want to be it. He's not even that great. He's good, like, but like, god damn, this man got a leopard print, but like this. But no, like, he's sitting in his locker, bent like, and you can just see it. It's wild, man. Oh, he guilty as fuck, dog. Whatever they say that man did, he guilty as fuck, dog. Sorry, bro. Like, I thought that should have been the OG Wilding segment. But my bad. Go ahead, let's go to the next thing. Like, that tramp stamp, man. Like, this is women's fault. Women, I blame y'all. It's y'all fault, dog.
Yeah.
Who see like it doesn't matter as long as you're great and you got money, women will accept anything. A man with a tramp stamp.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Plenty of women reaching for something down low that's shown this exact same pose, and you just ruined it.
Man, like I said, man, nothing wrong with you. What you just all I say is if like Pimp C say, if you gay, say you gay. Don't be up here acting like some straight up G when you be letting dude bust up your backside. Like, just if that's your thing, you part of, I think you could do a lot more for the community when you just embrace what you are and roll with it. But like, that's wild, man. But like I said, whatever they say he did that shit. Like, it's like men who steal salads and men who like the last week we had some dudes steal salads through DoorDash.
Oh.
But I don't know. That look wild, man. Like maybe if it's his whole back, but like where would the leopard start? Like that's really low on the leopard part.
And then leopard print.
Leopard print on the man is
crazy.
I mean, listen, man. If a Cardi Barbie likes it, more power to you. But they sharing a lot of supplies. So it's just a little zesty. But yeah, but go ahead. Let's go on to the next thing. I think you muted, Jada.
My bad. Let's take a look at two of the more famous owners in the league, Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft. Patriots owner Robert Kraft has made 11 Super Bowls since Jerry Jones's last Super Bowl. That's something crazy to think about. Jones is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and Kraft is somehow not. And Jerry Jones' last Super Bowl was 96, while Robert Kraft had 11 Super Bowls since Jones's last Super Bowl from 97 all the way to this year to 2026. And these are the Freaky Bull owners for sure, James. These are, yeah, cut from the same cloth, if you will. But anyways, just shows you how the Patriots organization has continued to uphold their championship status and their championship pedigree, and how the Cowboys continue to win, lose, but keep making that money. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Now we are going to go into our Big Games BS section for today, where we bring the scope of the conversation outside of the typical football world. But today, our YN and OG Wildland segments deal with some football news that occurred with the conference championship games. Now, with our BS or Bussin' Food segment, we have a, I guess, fusion food, if you will. This is something not ordinary, I would definitely say, but I'm curious to see how everybody is going to feel about this food item right here. If you think the food item looks good, spam bussin' in the chat. But if you think it looks trash, spam that BS in the chat. I know people may have a lot to say about this, but take a look at this croissant smash burger. So let's see how it's looking, everybody.
They make like a Big Mac sauce.
Oh. Gotcha. Then
It's a smash burger, so it's supposed to be thin.
Oh,
Like I don't like. It's just they marketed it a way to give us the same amount of food to make it look bigger.
just call it smash.
Just call it a smash burger. It's just one patty smashed down, and it looks like you're getting two pieces. It's just I'm not gonna hold. I want to eat it, right? Because I like burgers.
Yeah,
I don't really like that all of that too much. Ugh, it's too much sauce. But like, it's a cheeseburger on a croissant.
Yeah, I want a cheeseburger on a croissant.
I'm just saying, like, I just want a cheeseburger on bread in general. All right, so like croissant, Hawaiian roll, potato bread. Like, is it better than like? To be honest with you, I'm old school with it. Give me regular white bread. Nothing like it. But outside of that, man, we good. I mean, it's just I think they just did a lot. But I'm gonna eat it though. I like croissant. I like breakfast sandwiches. But like, but yeah, outside of that, man, like, yeah, it's a burger. So they just fancied it up the burger.
Shout out to everybody who commented on this BS or bussin' food review. Definitely. And not ordinary food matchup between the smash burger and the croissant. Just want to see how everybody's feeling out there as well. So we're gonna finish off our show with an OG and a YN Wyland segment. We're gonna have the YN go last because that one was funny and somewhat out of pocket. But we're gonna start with the OGs first. And let's start off with Chris Carter. Chris Carter posted this tweet after the Seattle game, and Chris Carter said this. So he went on Twitter to congratulate the Seahawks quarterback, but he said, hell of a win by Seattle, and congratulations to Sam Darnell. Yes, not Sam Darnold, Sam Darnell. It looks like Chris Carter didn't know what the edit tweet button was, couldn't locate it, but he has this post still up on his X account. And you know, Twitter fans went crazy with Sam Darnell. You can see right here, Sam Darnell. Sam Darnell.
Oh, come on, bro. Come on, bro. That's not even. Come on.
That looks like a bad cartoon. You know what? Who that looks like? The dude who was with Doug Funny.
Oh, Skeeter.
That's Skeeter, man.
But instead of
yo, that's wild, man.
I can't look at that. That's crazy. He looks like he's made of chocolate. It's just scary. I'm glad he kept it up there.
Yeah, he still has his tweet up there, made 12 hours ago. Didn't edit Sam Darnell or anything. I know his mentions are going crazy, but everybody on Twitter was.
Oh
yo,
my gosh,
that's wild.
Stop. They got us.
Why did they make him so dark?
I know. There's no black people.
Man,
that's hilarious, man.
What a funny post. But the YN Wyland segment is a little wilder. Even though it's not a post, it was somebody you actually mentioned, James, earlier in the show, if I'm not mistaken, because he is a Miami Hurricane who blocked the game tying field goal. That is Leonard Taylor. So in his post-game interviews in the locker room, a reporter asked him about on blocking the game time field goal. And this is what Leonard Taylor had to say.
Just jumped in the air and I got a taste of the ball.
What was that feeling like?
Yeah, but it was exciting, man. Just the rush and the adrenaline coming through my body, knowing that I helped the team.
And what's it?
Just jumped in the air and I got a taste of the ball.
What was that feeling like?
Yeah, but it was exciting, man. Just the rush and the adrenaline coming through my body, knowing that I helped the team.
Leonard Taylor made sure to say no Diddy after saying, I just jumped in the air and I got a taste of the ball. No Diddy.
What a,
That's wild, man.
I got a taste of the ball though. Like, do you?
Like, yeah, like you could have like worded like that's really bad word
I've never
word
heard
choice.
taste of the Freudian flip.
Yeah, like I mean, listen. Again, man, like yeah, that's wild. I got a taste for the balls. Or ball. Yeah, that's wild, dog. Yeah, you wild for that one, young bull.
Well, look, hopefully Taylor will get to taste more of Sam Darnell's balls in the Super Bowl matchup coming up. Hopefully Sam Darnell can shake through Leonard Taylor, get some touchdowns. But that's gonna be a crazy matchup between Leonard Taylor and Sam Darnell, not Darnold. That's gonna be his new name from here on out. But those are your OG and YN Wyland segments of the day. And that's all I had for the show for today. Since we are in the college football offseason and we're one step closer, sadly, to the NFL offseason, with the last game of the season being on February 8th between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks, a legendary Super Bowl rematch. So, any last words to everybody out there as we bring in this Monday?
Nah, that's it, man. Appreciate everybody for chopping it up with me. And we'll see you guys on Wednesday.